Hey, as you asked, I'm going over the final exam grammar. Um, so, how have you used a computer was question 1. That is in present perfect. I wanted an answer in present perfect, which I pretty much didn't get. A couple people got close, but I have used a computer at home and at school to keep track of student grades. How about that? So it's a how have you used it, means what did you do with it? How have you used it? So it's not have you used it, it's how have you used it? So several of you missed that part of it. How have you used a computer? I've used a computer at home and school to keep track of student grades. I've used a computer to share lessons with my students. So that's what I have done with it. How have I used it? In what way have I used it is the question. Or I use the computer every day. That would be a simple present answer, which would be fine. I use the computer every day to contact my friends and family. Right, so that is a simple present answer to a present perfect question, but it works. What were you doing at noon today? That is a past continuous question, so I want an answer in past continuous. I was making lunch and checking my homework, something like that. Some of you did simple past, which was okay, but the first question was in present perfect and a how question. The second question was in past continuous. All right, the next section, I didn't put the points on the test. I'm putting them on here so you see how I graded it. This was 12 points for each for the subject, verb, object, preposition. We have 4 things: subject, verb, object, preposition. So I need those 4 items. I don't need any more than that. Some of you did very complex things. You didn't need to. So plant. Verb, subject, I. Verb, have planted. Object, squash and peas. Prepositional phrase, in my garden. This year, so far. I have squash, peas, kale, collard greens, and of course, roses. Buy. My son bought what? Object, my son bought a new car. Prepositional phrase, place, time has to start with a preposition. My son bought a new car in San Francisco. Or my son bought a new car from a dealership in San Francisco. You can do 2 of those. So we have these prepositional phrases. The object is what? The prepositional phrase starts with a preposition. Study. The kids study math at school. So the kids, I planted what? I planted squash and peas. He bought what? He bought a new car. They study what? They study math. In my garden is a prepositional phrase. From a dealership is a prepositional phrase. At school is a prepositional phrase. In San Francisco is a prepositional phrase. Subject, verb, object, prepositional phrase. Next, use an infinitive after these verbs. Do not change the time. So she needed, wants, so we have to have a she subject there, and he will learn. Now we need an infinitive. She needed to buy. She wants to go. He will learn to write. Right, so I need an infinitive there. An infinitive, to buy, to go, to write. A lot of you missed the infinitive after learn. She needed to buy a full sentence, so we have to finish it. A new dress for the party. She wants to go to Paris next year. He will learn to write in English next semester. So I don't really care about the end part, but it does need to be a good full sentence. Basically, it's just using the infinitive after these verbs. Need to buy, want to go, learn to write. Change these sentences to singular in all of the ways that you can. So, the boys, the boy. So we have one boy. Play, boys play, plural, but boy plays is singular. Games, plural, we're going for a game, singular. Now we have one boy, so instead of their phones, we have his phone, one. And after class is okay. It has to be singular, after class. You can use class without an article. I'm not going to explain that right now. It's like to school, after class. It's an activity more than a place. Okay, so number 2, students. We're going with a student. Read, students read, student reads. Right, so the S is on the noun or the S is on the verb, but not both. Students read books. A book with long titles, no, a long title, and libraries, no, in the library. A student reads a book with a long title in the library. And you could have a library or the library or any of those. Label the parts of the sentence. So we have subject, verb, object, prepositional phrase, and conjunction. So we have subject, verb, object, let's see, subject, wanted to hurt. That's all verb. That's all verb. So, oops. Wanted to hurt. Wanted to hurt what? Her baby is the object. But now we have a conjunction. When you have a conjunction, then you start over. So you have a conjunction, you start over, new subject. But Leona convinced who? Convinced her. And if you said that this is an object, I should not have used a noun clause in this. So I accepted most answers on this part. But that life is good is a conjunction, subject, verb, and this is an adjective, not an object. But you could say that whole thing was an object, or you can break it down. I don't really care. That's fine either way. And if you got any of that in the noun clause, I accepted it. When, conjunction, conjunctions can come first. They don't have to go in the middle. They can come first. when Sam held what? A contest. Object. For the children is a prepositional phrase. For is a preposition. The children is the noun object. So that's a prepositional phrase. And then we have the comma there. So that's the end of that. Instead of having the conjunction in the middle, you have the conjunction at the front, but you still have, when they have that comma as a break, and you start over. One black girl, subject. Found verb. Found a solution object. And to the water problem is a prepositional phrase. To the water problem. Now you can have to as a verb, and you can have to as a preposition. To hurt, hurt is a verb, so to hurt is an infinitive, but problem is a noun, so to the water problem, to UC Berkeley, that too is a preposition. Cy Young didn't leave. Didn't leave what? Didn't leave her house because, conjunction, start over, subject, a man, had hurt what? Had hurt her at her shop, preposition. So didn't leave is the verb, because, no comma next to because, no comma next to because. Had hurt, past perfect, verb hurt again. At her shop is a prepositional phrase. At is the preposition. On the next section, fix. So we have child. Child needs to be either singular or plural. So a child or children, right? You have to be either singular or plural. And in past, it's okay, you can do either one. You still have went. Go in past is went. To, park is a singular or plural. So a park or parks. And last week. So you can do singular or plural, but the singular needs an A and the plural needs an S. Singular A, plural S. You have to have one or the other. And last week is past. Boy, call mother. Sorry about my throat. I'm trying to give up coffee, so my throat's not good. So a boy or boys, singular or plural. Every day is singular. Every day is present, sorry. Every day is present. So a boy calls or boys call. You have to have the subject and the verb match. So if it's singular, a boy calls. If it's plural, boys call. Well, let's do this whole thing in both singular and plural, because if we have one boy, we have one mother. But if we have two boys, then we have probably multiple mothers. Well, not necessarily. You could have boys call the two boys call their mother every day. So we have two boys and one mother, right? So one mother can have two children. So those are all options. You can go singular, you can go plural, but you have to be consistent. Yesterday, past. So we have a or the or my. You can do any of those. A, the, my book fell on the floor yesterday. Book singular. Oops. Fell. I was thinking about the fact that most of you wrote felt for that, so I made that mistake, sorry. The book fell on the floor yesterday. The biggest mistake that most of you made on that is fall, fell, fallen, feel, felt, felt. So if the past of fall is fell, not felt. Felt is the past of feel. Woman clean house since 2 o'clock. Now you can have the women or the woman, singular or plural, I don't care. But since 2 o'clock, that's present perfect. Have been cleaning a house, the house, her house if it's singular, their house if it's plural. But if house is singular, then you have to have something. You can just do houses plural. Have been cleaning. So let's do this again, all the way singular and all the way plural. A woman has been cleaning her house since 2 o'clock. Or women have been cleaning houses since 2 o'clock. So you can have one house, or you can have multiple houses. You can have one woman, or you can have multiple women. Every count noun, you have to say it's singular or it's plural. Man take wife to restaurant tomorrow, future. So since it's restaurant and tomorrow, it's probably one man will take or is going to take his wife to a restaurant tomorrow. Oops. So a man is going to take his wife to a restaurant tomorrow, probably just one. Daughter sings song for an hour. So again, we can have multiple daughters and multiple songs, or we can have one daughter and one song. We can have one daughter and multiple songs. We have a lot of choices here, but you do have to say my daughter or my daughters for 1 hour, present perfect. So my daughter has sung. My daughters have sung. Right, so singular or plural. And then do we have one song or multiple songs? So they've sung this one song for an hour, or they've sung many songs for this hour. I don't care, but you do have to choose singular or plural. A daughter, my daughter, the daughter, or daughters. Every count noun needs to be singular or plural. Boss gives raise to employee. The boss will give raises to his employees in 3 weeks. Definitely 3 weeks. That weeks is plural. Or bosses will give a raise. No, that'd have to be singular. A boss will give a raise to one employee in 3 weeks. So you can have one or more bosses, you can have one or more employees. The will give is the same, singular or plural. You can have one raise, many raises, but it's definitely 3 weeks. 1, 2, 3, count weeks. Girl eat apple, we can go singular or plural. A girl ate an apple on a plane 2 years ago. So a girl, one apple, one plane, but 2 years. Or girls ate apples on planes 2 years ago. You could have 2 girls and 1 apple. You can have one girl and 2 apples. I don't care. But every count noun, you have to say, is it singular or is it plural? Are we talking about one or are we talking about more than one? Verbs and times. Move this down to the next page here. Verbs and times. So each one of these is used twice. So simple present. Simple present is every day. Simple present is when I'm tired. That means whenever that happens. That means every time, right? When I'm tired, I take a nap. When I'm tired, I drink coffee. When I'm tired, I go for a run. What do you do every time that happens? So when I'm tired takes simple present. Simple past. Last year is simple past, and ago is simple past. Any times, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, any agos are simple past. 3 weeks ago. Simple future. Next year is simple future, and in 2025. So in 3 hours means 3 hours from now is future, and in 2025, within that year, is also future. Present continuous, right now in progress. So we have right now, and we have while I'm taking this test. While I'm taking this test, I am trying to do my best. Past continuous, when you called. When you called, I was making breakfast. When you called, I was out running. And while I was running, I was listening to music. Present perfect, for and since are present perfect for 2 years since 2011. Now we have some other options. So past continuous could 3 weeks ago can be past continuous. I don't like it as well, but 3 weeks ago I was working in Hayward, but now I'm only working in Oakland. For 2 years can be past or future. For 2 years can be past. I lived there for 2 years. For 2 years can be simple future. I will live there for 2 years. I will study for 2 years. Move these down out of my way here. Okay, so oops, sorry, on the wrong line here. Right now is right now, present continuous, but actually some of you put simple present, which is possible. So simple present, I have a headache right now, non-action. or I am taking a test right now, action. So that is possible, to have simple present, non-action. Past continuous, when you called, is the best choice, but simple past is also possible. When you called, I answered. Continuous, down here. So when you called, I was taking a shower, so I didn't answer, or when you called, I answered. Right, so that could be past continuous or simple past. When I'm tired, could be present perfect. Simple present, it's not past. Could be present perfect. When I'm tired, I have, no. Yeah, so that's simple present. That means all the time. Simple future, next year in 2025. While I'm taking this test, could be simple present. While I'm taking this test, while I'm taking this test, I'm thinking about my kids, present continuous, or while I'm taking this test, I need to concentrate. Simple present, non-action verbs don't go in ing. Think about is an action. Need is a non-action. Everyday simple present. Everyday can be past. I went there every day in 2000. That's possible. Simple can be simple past. And while I was running can be simple past. While I was out running, I fell. So while I was running, you were making breakfast. Or while I was running, I fell down. Right, so that's possible, past continuous or simple past. Last year, simple past, you can use past continuous. I got a car last year. I was working in LA last year. That is possible. Means the ing means temporarily, not usually, and not now. Now, you have to use those 6 verb tenses in a sentence. And some of you made it really hard on yourself. I said you can change the same sentence. You can just change the same sentence. It's way easier. So you can say, I play the piano, simple present. I played the piano last year, simple past. I'm going to play the piano at my friend's wedding next week, simple future. I have played the piano since I was 5, present perfect. I am playing the piano now, not true, but present continuous. I was playing the piano when you got home, past continuous. You can write different sentences, or you can change the same sentence, or you can write different sentences. I don't care. Something about our book in these times. Simple present. A lot of you got confused by the always, usually, fact. It's just that's what simple present means. I thought that was helpful. It turned out it wasn't real helpful. Simple present, always, usually, fact. So, TO1 knows a lot about gardening. That's a fact. This one time happened. Kim planted her beans behind a refrigerator. Past. Future. Kim will plant her beans in good rows next year. And present perfect. Cy Young has met many of her neighbors. So that's using the verb tenses in context. Last thing, what do you like best about Seed Folks and why? Write at least 4 sentences. I like the stories in Seed Folks, but what I like best is the hopefulness. People live so separately in the U.S. Before the garden, the residents of Gibbs Street didn't know each other. I have traveled in very poor places in this world, and I saw that community is what makes for happiness, not money. When people know each other and look out for each other, everyone's lives are enriched. My favorite thing about Seed Folks is the building of community and connectedness in a poor, interracial, intercity community. So that's my answer. You didn't have to do something that complicated. But now, which verb tenses do you use? And you need at least 2. So I used simple present, like I like, and I used present perfect. Where was that? Have traveled. And I use simple past in I saw. Okay, singular nouns. We have garden and world. Plural nouns. We have stories and people. Non-count nouns. Money. And proper noun, Gibbs Street. I did not require those. It must be at least 2, but I did not require those. But you did have to know whether you had it. So if you left it blank, you needed to not have it. If you put something there, it needed to be right. What prepositional phrases? See, I didn't pay attention. Did I use at least 2? I did. Before the garden, in Seed Folks, about Seed Folks, in a poor, interracial, intercity community, in very poor places, in this world, for happiness. Is that all of them? I think I only required 2. So if you missed some, that's fine. And then conjunctions I used but. Before the garden is just a prepositional phrase. And I saw. When people know each other. That's it. So I used those 3. So what I wanted you to do was write a context, but write with some complexity, something to think about when you're writing. Make sure you have some complexity, different verb tenses, different structures. Don't make it so simple. Make it a little bit more complex, especially at the higher levels. So you all did amazingly well on this test. I was very impressed. The highest score was a 98, which is pretty amazing. I don't think it was that easy, so you did really well. And good luck with everything. Bye-bye.